Okay, so I put this together to maybe help um, estimate lead times based on physical dollars in the sales order backlog for machines. Alright, so I've got this sheet. This information is totally refreshed from Made to Manage, and so every time that you open the sheet, or every, I think, 60 minutes, it will pull in the information. So whether or not the sales order is open, started, or on hold, it will be here. So you can see that we've got sales order number, the company, the order name, then the sum of the cost of the job, and then the due date that's in the system. So I'm going to get into some of this in a minute. Starts here with this. This is a field you don't touch. Maybe I'll just put a grayed out on here. These are fields you don't touch. These are your somewhat basically your results. So we are making, right now we have 7 people, and I'm going to put 7 in here for right now. Our rate of sales revenue per man hour is 400. So basically, over the years, I've correlated the amount of sales dollars to be produced based on the number of man hours, and that ratio is $400. So I am assuming that based on 7 people working some combination of 40, 50, 55 hours a week, you're going to be able to generate $400 times those total man hours. Now again, there's some deficiencies. People don't show up. They don't hit the numbers. They spent 2 weeks working on an R&D project or an indirect job. That's not factored in here. So this is straight out, I would say, best case scenario. Okay, so when it comes to calculating the lead time or the date. So we've got a couple things going on here. First of all, I've got 5 scenarios: 45, 40, 45, 50, 55, and 60. Sorry about that. Just make sure this is calculating at 60. And so what this formula is doing is it's assessing the total here and dividing it by the total number of man hours per month, and then timesing it by the 400. And so it's calculating how many months of work it will take you to do this total backlog. Now you can see I've got a 750 down here, so I'm going to take that 750 out right now, and you can see that it changed, right? So straight formula based system. So what this says is that if we work at 40 hours a week with 7 people, it is going to take us 7 months to get this amount of work done. Okay, that's how the calculation works out. And then this completion date basically just takes an estimated of 30 days per month times by 7.06 and adds it to 1026, which is the current date today. And then it formulates out. So if I were to say, hey, we need to hire somebody and get 8 resources down there, that's what the impact is of that one person. So obviously if I go back to 7, you can see I go from about 4.7 months at 60 hours a week to 4.12. So a little bit of movement, not drastic, but a little bit. So what I'm looking at here is this date based on this last job, and this last job is based on 3-1. If I move back up 125, 123, 123, 112, there is no way that these are going to get accomplished based on 8 people at 60 hours a week. And so going from that, we can put in 10, and we're going to creep up into the first part of February. What this is telling you is basically it's going to take you a lot longer to produce the work that you have than the dates that you put in for customer requirements. So you are on the verge of slipping past customer ship dates. My suggestion would be that you would go through here and say, oh, well, if this guy doesn't need his until March 23rd, then you would move some of that stuff out to help relieve the constraint. So that is how that works. I'm going to put this back down to 7. So these 5 columns come straight from the system. Okay, no need to touch those. This column here, percent complete, is based on how much of the system is already done, because we're assuming that the total sales remaining to be done at this moment in time includes either stuff that hasn't been started or stuff that's possibly complete. So we've got total operations in here, but it just shipped. It's out of the system. We have no sales revenue to factor into this. Go down to this one, Dixon, engineering. Machine build has nothing to do with that, so it's 100%. Bolt hangers, haven't started it, so I got 26.4, 26.4. East Bulk Israel, it's a 6-pocket imprinter, very limited work to be done. We threw in a number of 80%. Now you can get this number from the dashboard, you can get it from the job status spreadsheet, you can get it from a couple different areas to get a decent number in here. So Ameli's, I estimated just 40%, so on and so forth. You can see this. Now Ace Bacon, you can see I put 100% in here because it's done. And so we don't want to factor those numbers into this column over here, which we're using to assess the total load. So this is a calculated field, comes straight from here. So you're going to input information into here as needed. And then this column over here is kind of like a timeline. So this gives you a big picture. All of this, latest date, right? Pretty simple. Now this is going to give you an estimation as you walk down this list. So if there's somebody in the middle that you're looking at, maybe we want to know how far out we are on this potential ship date. So what this is going to do is allow you at this point to plug in a number. Let's just say we're going to work 60 hours a week, and we're basing this off of 7 machine people. Now you can see that it starts to go from high to low, and it ends at 316, which is the same number that's here. But what this allows you to do is take a look and say, hey, you know what? This gold standard ball packer that we said 1/1 is our date, that is probably not going to happen. You're literally probably a month to 6 weeks past that. And that's again in my estimation. So if you went back into the sales order and moved this out into the end of, let's just say the beginning of February, and move this down the list, now obviously this would go away and this would move up the list. So you can make those decisions based on the due dates that are on the sales orders in the systems. So let's just say we had said, what about another 2 bulk packers? Okay, well, we got a bulk packer cost of $734. So let's just say 2 bulk packers, we're guesstimating at about a $750,000 sell. I'm going to plug 750 in here. And what that's going to do is kind of give me an idea based on whatever I put in here or whatever I put in here. And again, they're not the same. So I could put 45 in here, and then this column is going to relate back to this 45, right? So I'm going to leave 60 in there. 47, right? To me, you're talking about 5-6 month lead time right now, and it's really coming from this. So this is really the issue here. You can't go with 7. So you plug 10 in there. Let's just say we put a reasonable number of 50 in here, and this is kind of what this turns into now. So now we're looking at more of an end of March-ish date for this new job that we put in. All right. And again, if we wanted to do another one, I think I can just put in. Put in 125. I got some formula-based stuff going on, so. I'm not totally sure. I'm going to try to tweak this a little bit, but I'm anticipating that this sort of runs itself down, so it's usable and not real glitchy in terms of having to add cells and do all that stuff. But this will help give you an idea of loading versus lead time and what can and can't happen. So